Let me introduce Shannon. She's a NetSuite account manager at Business Solution Partners. And today she's going to be talking about three things that NetSuite offers for free or mostly free that you should be taking advantage of today.
Hi, everyone. I am Shannon. I am an account manager here at Business Solution Partners. I recently came to Business Solution Partners from NetSuite, so I have quite a bit of knowledge with the NetSuite ecosystem. So today I'm going to be talking to you about three things that NetSuite offers for free or mostly free that you should be taking advantage of. Okay, so first up is the NetSuite Business Review. Then we're going to go into suiteapp.com and the Learning Cloud Support LCS Pass, which is both been queued up for me beautifully. So NetSuite Business Review. This is what I'm going to spend the most time on today because as far as I'm concerned, it's one of the better bang for your bucks, especially because it is free at NetSuite. So how many of you have said to yourself, I don't know what I don't know about NetSuite? I'm willing to bet most of you have said that because I have heard that more times than I can possibly count. So at NetSuite, a business review is an attempt to fix that for you. This is a major priority for NetSuite. I assume you've had someone reach out to try and schedule one. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what they are and why you should be excited to participate in one. So surface level, what is a NetSuite business review? It is a 60 to 90 minute phone call with your NetSuite team. It is time to assess your usage of your NetSuite against your licensing. How well are you using what you're paying for, basically? It's a discussion of your business goals and how NetSuite can support. And it's also a time for any general questions that you might have. So who is on the call? Yourselves, obviously the client. We recommend you bring as many people as makes sense, your power users, your admins, your process owners, your leadership teams. On the NetSuite side, it's your NetSuite account manager and solutions consultant. If you have NetSuite through someone like Business Solution Partners or another solution provider like that, someone like me will also be on the call. So the goals of the business review, what are they? What should yours be? So NetSuite's goals are to understand you and your business, understand how your processes work, understand you as people and business leaders better. They want to understand your business objectives for the year and make sure that NetSuite is aligned to support that. We want to align your software expenses with your day-to-day operations, make sure you're using what you're paying for, and evaluate the different processes within your business. So your goals as the client should be sort of equal and opposite here. We want you to gain an understanding of how your company could be better leveraging your NetSuite licensing. We want to make sure that NetSuite understands who you are from a holistic perspective. And this includes sort of understanding your future state goals. This is a time for you to get to know your NetSuite team. Obviously, you have an account manager and solutions consultants who are real people who want to get to know you and can better serve you the better you guys know each other. So overall, it's just a time to make sure you're maximizing your ROI of your NetSuite system. So I'm going to give you a quick example agenda and give you a few tips on how you could potentially prepare. So obviously everything starts with introductions. Make sure to introduce your team. NetSuite will introduce themselves. Then we're going to go into your business overview. So this is an understanding of your revenue as a company, your location, the number of employees you have. Obviously, the point of this is to make sure we're having a discussion that fits your company size. Also during this time, I don't have it on the slide here, but we will talk about your current NetSuite footprint, basically what you have licensed. This is helpful if there's been some turnover on your team and the person representing your company wasn't here for the initial purchase, maybe doesn't even know what you have access to at NetSuite. Next, we're going to go over your technology landscape, meaning what other softwares or processes are you using aside from NetSuite to handle some of these business processes? This is important for us to know. It helps us understand what you guys value as a company, what you're investing in, what processes you're investing in. It also helps us understand if there's potentially some overlap here. Are you using a CRM system because you don't know that NetSuite has a CRM system? Maybe we can retire that spend on the additional CRM system. It also helps us understand if you have so many softwares communicating with your NetSuite system, perhaps you're having some timeout or slowdown issues. This is a time for us to identify that and hopefully offer some recommendations. The most time on the call is spent on what is called the business assessment. I'm going to show you next a slide of exactly what that looks like. This is sort of the meat and potatoes of it. It is a graph that shows your usage versus your licensing of your NetSuite system. And then obviously we try and leave time for Q&A, although you might find that most of your questions are answered by the time Q&A rolls around. Okay, so here we have a slide that is from a business assessment. There will normally be like 3 of these slides. So if you don't see something over here in the process area that you would be excited to talk about, don't worry, there's always more on your actual call. So let me walk you through this graph really quick. On the left, we have the process area. On here, we have financial management and reporting, selling and order management, billing and collections, revenue management. And then on the next columns from right to left, NetSuite is assessing your usage within that swim lane of the NetSuite system. So you see you have manual, foundational, competitive, best in class. The goal is to always be best in class. But sometimes it might not be, and this is an opportunity to discuss why that might be. So let's look at some of the things that a solutions consultant might sort of pick out here. So as you can see on the financial management and reporting, the licensing that this customer has was labeled as competitive. They probably had something like advanced financials or demand planning, things like that. But their usage of the system was foundational. So that says to the solutions consultant that, okay, you are not using everything you're licensed for. So let's talk about that. Why is that? Do you know you have advanced financials? If not, let's figure out how to get you to use it. But there's also something to be learned too, when your licensing and your usage are aligned. So if we're looking at billing and collections here, as you can see, the usage and the licenses are aligned. That's fantastic. Good to know. Now you are aware you are maximizing your NetSuite purchase when it comes to billing and collections. But if you're still having some issues in these areas, we know you're aligned, so we know the next step is to look for another NetSuite product that might work, or look for another third-party solution that could potentially help. So that is an overview of the main part of the business review. You're going to learn a ton about your business and how it relates to NetSuite from going through these slides. So my tips for success. I have now been through, I actually don't even know how many business reviews as someone who was a NetSuite account manager, and now I'm an account manager over here at Business Solution Partners. So I've rounded up some tips for you. My number 1 tip is to align your expectations and what you are bringing to the table to the purpose of the call. The purpose of this call is to discuss your NetSuite licensing and how that aligns to your business goals. I don't know if there are any Seinfeld fans on the line here. It's one of my favorite TV shows. So hopefully some people get this joke, but please do your best to keep your airing of grievances about NetSuite to a minimum here. NetSuite is a highly siloed place to work. So the people you are talking to are prepared to talk to you about licensing and your business and how those relate. You will not be on the phone with a tech support person, and you will not be on the phone with the CEO of Oracle. So I have had, several business reviews derailed because someone on the call just really has a bone to pick about a certain tech support case, or, they have, a problem with how NetSuite bills your company. These are things that people on the phone with you are in no way, shape, or form qualified to help with. So if you want to make sure your time is being used please make sure to bring to the table licensing issues and licensing discussions that we can help you with. Of course, always raise issues that you have with NetSuite if we do not know you're having them. That's not to say we don't want to hear about the problems you're having. Just please be aware to sort of keep the time focus on that to a minimum, and that we will do our best to answer the questions, but ultimately this hour and a half is not the forum to get a lot of those questions answered. Next tip is to bring your process owners. At a bare minimum, guys, NetSuite has financials, CRM, and inventory, right? So if we're only talking to the finance team, we love the finance team. I know a lot of people on this call are finance team. Love you though we do. If we don't have anyone from the sales team or the warehouse team, or, we can really only focus on those financial problems, which is great, happy to do it, but you could be maximizing your time with us so much more. So please bring on, your power users and process owners. Next is review your own NetSuite usage. Do a check-in with yourself, with your team. Hey guys, how are we using NetSuite well? Where do you think we could improve? Get those together, put together a list of questions, and bring those questions to the call. If we don't know, if we can't answer the question on the call, we will always follow up with you. But, it's kind of a drag for everyone involved if people kind of don't come prepared with questions for us. We have what we're going to say, and we have our questions for you, but we want to make sure you're getting a lot out of this call too. So bring those questions, please. So hopefully you are so pumped to do a business review now. So how do you schedule one? Reach out to your NetSuite account manager. That's it. They will do the rest of the work aside from scheduling with you. They've no doubt reached out to you to try and schedule one. This is a huge initiative for NetSuite. My only note is please expect a few weeks of lead time. The account managers have to do some internal calls, do some scheduling. But once you reach out to them, say, hey, we want to do this, you should be able to get one on the calendar within a few weeks. Oh, one more tip. I didn't have this on my slide, but I do want to bring it up. A good time to schedule a business review for you is when you're sort of thinking about your budgeting process, where if we have some money left over and we want to make sure we have that money next year from the company, where can we spend it? A business review is a great opportunity to do that. So you can see if there's anywhere in NetSuite that you could make some more investment. Okay, moving on. SuiteApp.com. Gavin set us up lovely for this. So say in your business review, you have realized, okay, we're maxed out on a certain swim lane within NetSuite. We have reached NetSuite's full capabilities within this area. We need to go further. How can we do that and still leverage our NetSuite system to the best of the ability? SuiteApp.com is the answer. So what is SuiteApp.com? It is a directory of Suite Cloud Developer Network partners and their NetSuite solutions. That might not have been a super helpful definition. Don't worry, I've got you. What is an SDM partner? It is a software that has passed NetSuite's rigorous qualification criteria. Those criteria, are different depending on the industry you're in. But to me, the most important thing is it is regularly updated to work with NetSuite's biannual updates. So if you are working with an SDM partner, you are assured that your softwares will continue working with NetSuite whenever NetSuite updates. And many qualify for the Built for NetSuite badge. If someone is built for NetSuite, sort of exactly what it sounds like, this company started their software to work as seamlessly as possible with NetSuite. And I want you guys to keep sort of those two things in mind, whether you are on SuiteApp.com or just out at SuiteWorld or at one of our events. SDM partner, built for NetSuite, two things you always want to hear. So I'm going to take you guys to the website in just a second. I'm going to do a little bit of a story time for you though. So I did have a customer who was a medical, well, they weren't, they still are. They're just not my customer anymore. They are a medical device wholesale distributor. They were chugging right along on NetSuite's native shipping functionality. Everything was going great. However, they decided they needed to change their business model. They were growing. They wanted to sell bigger items. So they needed to start using freight shipping. And if you do or don't know this, NetSuite's sort of shipping functionality sort of ends if you need to use freight. So I suggested that they take a look at suiteapp.com, and I'll sort of walk you through what that website might look like. Okay, so here we are on suiteapp.com. You can go here and sort of filter by your business needs, by your verticals, language, countries, all of that. But as usual, sometimes the fastest way is just to use the search bar. So my customer needed freight shipping. Here we go. Type that right on in. I'm going to look at PaceJet because that's ultimately who they went with. But as you can see, we have 6 results here for freight shipping. Sometimes you type in, your keyword and like 100 people pop up. If it starts to get overwhelming, reach out to your NetSuite rep. They may be able to help you sort of narrow it down. But I want to show you a few things on here for you to look for when you are narrowing down your choices. So as you can see on here, this is PaceJet's page on suiteapp.com. Over here, we have an overview of what they do, some specific features they feel that are important to call out, some documents you can pick up. These are a lot of times data sheets or spec sheets, and also reviews, which I think is really cool and really important. So as you can see, they have really great reviews, 4 and 5 stars only. Also right here, we've got that Built for NetSuite badge, very important to use. And also a lot of times you'll see down here, it says hybrid suite app. A lot of times that means that you don't even have to leave NetSuite to leverage this software. It is so integrated that, once you have your setup done on PaceJet's system, that end user isn't actually going to have to go to PaceJet. It's just all in their NetSuite. So keep a lookout for things like that, and listen for things like that when you're evaluating one of these SDM partners. Okay. So my biggest tips for success here when you are trying to navigate suiteapp.com, or when you're looking really for any sort of functionality partner in general, look for Built for NetSuite. That's the gold standard. Review your needs with your NetSuite resources if you're feeling a little overwhelmed. They may have a way that they can point you. They might have know, a specific company that is really a great fit for your needs. And lastly, ask your account manager for introductions. A lot of these SDM partners have put a lot of resources and effort into making sure that NetSuite reps know who they are. So your account manager might have the exact person you need to reach out to and get this process going really quickly. Okay, last but certainly not least, the Learning Cloud Support Pass. So I've left this for last because it's sort of maybe potentially be free, might not be free. I'll explain. So what is an LCS Pass? It is a library of video training for any NetSuite user. It includes information on all NetSuite functionality, not just what you have. And I think that's really cool. It is made up of individual courses. You can just take the individual courses, or those individual courses roll up to learning paths. I'll show you sort of what that looks like in a minute. Since 2020, one named seat is free with all new instances. So if you bought your instance since 2020, you very likely have an LCS pass that you may or may not know about. Many customers also buy passes on the initial NetSuite purchase and then forget about them. That has happened more times than I can count. So my recommendation, ask your NetSuite admin if you have an LCS pass. So however, from now on, Company Pass is the only available option. Instead of buying one individual seat, Company Pass offers access to all of your NetSuite users to leverage LCS. So this is sort of a little example of these learning paths. Paths and the courses actually are tailored to roles. They can be tailored to processes, or they can be tailored to specific products. We can just look right here. So here's a wholesale distribution, prepare for implementation. So this is obviously, targeted at a person in the wholesale space getting ready for implementation. Here's one on how to do CSV imports. How do I do this? That way you don't have to reach out to tech support. You don't have to fiddle around in the dark until you figure it out. It's right there. And then there's some sort of more product focused trainings. Business intelligence with searching and reporting. This is a learning path on how to leverage NetSuite safe searches and reporting tools. It's great. Okay, so here is what a learning path would look like. So here's the CFB import path. As you can see, there's a few classes that make that up. You don't have to take all the classes, guys. You know, as we saw previously on that last slide, some of these learning paths are really long, 35 hours. That's a lot. Let's be honest. You don't have to take every single class. But it is important, I think, especially if you're new to NetSuite, to really take the time to go through these classes and learn, because all that time you put in is going to pay huge dividends when you're not having, to stumble around to figure out different processes. NetSuite is incredibly powerful, but, sometimes it can be a hard learning curve. So do yourself the favor, leverage that LCS pass, and you can be the best NetSuite user you can be, which is highly valuable both for the company you're in now and, quite frankly, when you go to move jobs, being a strong NetSuite user is a really high selling point. So, for yourself now and for the future, check it out. So overall, sort of my tips for success on LCS Pass is that, remember, it's good for on-demand self-led training. If you need more one-on-one training and you need it like immediately, maybe reach out to someone like BSP. But generally speaking, this is the perfect supplement for new hire onboarding. It's also a great opportunity to learn about modules that you don't have yet, but that you're interested in looking at. Hey, is advanced financials right for me? I don't know. Let me take this training and see if this is a conversation I want to get in with NetSuite. You can use it for educational purposes like that. You can learn some best practices and some process improvements. Again, you don't have to sit for 35 hours if you don't have 35 hours. Find the critical info you need and move on. And then lastly, contact your in-house NetSuite admin. There's a really high chance that you have an LCS pass already and just no one is aware of that. If your admin does not know, reach out to your account manager. They should be able to tell you if you have one or not. So to wrap us up today, business review, absolutely free to you. SuiteApp.com, completely free to you. LCS Pass, maybe free, maybe not. It's still worth a look though, regardless. All right, thank you guys for having me.